recording's up. I'll just be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Alright, yeah. Because they just, especially with Orisa, they just made her a bit more long ranged with, like, I think before this
No
patch.
bullet drop.
Yeah, exactly. The no bullet drop really made her a bit more ranged. Okay. Maybe could have javelined her into the wall there. With the diva, we also kind of keep shooting at the diva even though she gets away when there's like a Kiriko right in that corner over there who just used her teleport. And did she also Suzu when she came in? She comes in, teleports Suzu's, and then puts herself in the corner, right? And
I could have gone for her.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Oopsie. Let's raise this up. Yep. Let me come over to contest Diva. Okay. It's good that you're putting a little bit of pressure on her, but maybe we seem to be focusing a bit too intently on Diva at the moment. Diva's eating a lot of your javelins at the moment. That's like the third javelin she's eaten. So gotta be careful that we're not just chucking it into her when she's just watching us straight head on. So different things we can do is throw it at other people who aren't Diva. So that we can just get it around her defense matrix. We can use it when she's used up all her defense matrix. We can use it when she's out of mech. When she's dead, we can use it when she's nowhere near you. You can use it when she's turned around and not paying attention to you. You really have a lot of options. The big thing is just don't like chuck it straight at Diva when she's actively looking straight at you, and she has defense matrix. Watch overheating your weapon, right? Pretty much never want to overheat it because then it's just going to be down longer. Always want to, if you see it getting towards the top, just let it cool down by yourself, or else you're going to be stuck out of it. It's always better to have the option to shoot because, what if you're locked out of your weapon and then there's like somebody right in front of you who's 1 HP, right? You wanna be able to have the opportunity. Definitely want to work on landing javelins. That seems to be a big thing. What's wrong with target priority as well here? What's wrong with who you're looking at?
I'm looking at the Junkrat when I have a Mercy on top.
And what's Mercy doing?
She's trying to rest someone at the moment, I think.
So, javelining Mercy, right? Denies a free res, right? Which keeps them down a player, which continues your advantage, right? Rather than making your teams even here. So got to be very careful. Is that a beat or just a Lucio boop? I think it's a Lucio boop. So just got to be very careful. Being aware of your surroundings, right? This is part of awareness. Pay attention. Never ever have to worry about dead bodies unless they're on a mercy, right? Then if they're on a mercy, got to watch for the reses. Pay attention for them because then you can shut down free value on their side, and that gets you free value if you're just paying attention to it. Okay. We kind of swap target. Like, we kind of, like, lose track of Kiriko and stop looking at her and spin around when she's, like, 1 HP. So, keep on target if she's, like, 1 HP. We kind of, like, swap off the target. Oh, I think you cancel your Fortify here. Yeah, you cancel your Fortify on accident. Whoopsie.
Oh, you can cancel it. I didn't even know about that.
I'm pretty sure. which is what I do. I don't think you can see it, but I think if you press it again, it cancels it, because that's the only thing I can think of here, because look, you press it, and then it goes away right away. So
Oh yeah,
I'm assuming you cancel it.
man.
Oh, one HP again, so not a little bit of awareness, right? Like
Mm.
Pharah 1 HP. Also, like their whole team's dead at the moment, so like just like pushing around that corner and shooting at her a little bit, right? Gets the kill, secures it. So far we can see we're a minute and a half in, and we haven't gotten any final blows, right? Because
No, not really.
yeah, we've gotten like some decent damage in, but no final blows, right? And that's an important thing to be able to do, is to secure those kills yourself, because it's you can take all the things you want, but if nothing actually dies, then you're not getting value. So
Mm.
something we're noticing is that we're like not capitalizing on opportunities at all, right? There's plenty of opportunities to happen, where somebody's out of position, somebody's low HP, somebody's rezzing, and we just aren't shooting at them. And pretty much all of those come from a lack of awareness, because we're not being aware of the opportunity, right? Where we could be
Mm.
going aggressive and capitalizing on it, but we're not. Um, Now, this also comes a little bit in an aggression, which let's go for a little bit longer, but we might touch on aggression in a minute, because now we're on tank, and usually a lot of times it's very helpful on tank, and it might even be helpful for your DPS gameplay as well.
Mm.
Okay. Okay, now your whole team's dead. Probably want to back up. Yep, good assessment of your surroundings there. Javelin her into the wall, right? That kind of like stuns her, maybe allows her to pick. Your own javelin, right? So let's talk about how you use your javelin spin, right? Um, I
Mm.
think a lot of times you kind of just sit there and use it like you would like a Sigma grasp, right? You kind of
Mm.
just like use it in place. And a lot of the times that's not usually the method. Now, you most certainly can use it like that if you're blocking like an ability or an ultimate, like if you're trying to eat up one of those,
Mm.
go for it, because that's going to be super powerful if you're eating up abilities and ultimates. Or, of course, if you're like low HP or your teammates are low HP and you need something to soak up damage, and you also aren't wanting to run in, of course, those will be times where you can use it standing still. Right, but it's also like a bit longer of a cooldown, right? When we use it, I mean, not actually, it's not super long. Wait, let's see, what is it? It's 7 seconds. Okay, so that's not too bad. 7 second cooldown. Um, a lot of the time, you're going to want to use it while you're pushing and getting aggressive and running into them, and then you also get the damage out of it as well, and the knockback as well that comes with it. So you can use it for knockback. You can use it to push the enemy team backwards. You use it for damage to kind of put some pressure on their tank, or you can even like use it for damage on squishies. You might go over even some like different combos and things like that, because I think just in general we're like underutilizing abilities in the getting kills process, right? Because a lot of times we are just kind of chucking our abilities in, and then trying to shoot people to get kills. It's almost like we don't have our abilities as a tool to get kills. They're just there, and then you're trying to get kills with your gun. Um,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
mhm. um, and a lot of times with your spin, you can use that as a method to pin people into walls and things like that. So let's just like really quick take a look at that. Right. First, let's take a look at if you land all of your javelin spin. Let's look at how much damage that does to somebody. And the other thing is that it allows you to pin someone into the wall, which just makes it easier to land shots on them. So, actually, I think the standard bots might not have had their health changed yet. I'm actually not sure, unless they because they're down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think their health is lower than all the rest of the bots. So let me get up. Normal 250 HP, right? Okay, I land the whole thing. Look how much health that just did. That did almost half his health, right? That's like 100 damage right there off of your javelin spin. And then you combo that up with some more shots, and then it looks something like this, where I can just pin him into the wall. You can even boop him. Look how far back you can boop him off the map with that.
Yeah.
Let's go to a bot over here. Oof, were these guys? I think I think that they still are at 200 HP, but let's pin them into the wall, right? You can just go like this, and then follow up with some shots, quick melee, and then they can't, like, you're crowd controlling them so they can't get away from you, right? By pinning them into the wall. You can use it to boot people off the map, right? Look how easy this is right there to just, like, run somebody off the edge. Combo it with a javelin, right? So pin them into the wall and then javelin them into the wall. Because remember that it does more damage when your javelin connects with the wall, right? So javelin damage, two bars in a little bit. If they connect with the wall, extra damage.
Oh.
Right? So if I pin someone into the wall, right, or something like that, then you can combo your abilities together to secure a kill. So let's get these guys down to normal health. Right? Pin someone in. Right, and you can melt them down pretty quick. So combo your abilities together, and you're probably going to be much better off getting kills. Javelin, make sure you're trying to pin people in the walls with it for the most part. Not all the time, especially if you're just spamming it. You don't need to. But, like, even Javelin, just look at how, like, we can pin someone into the wall and then get a secure kill from pretty far away. Right, like, if we're just pinning them into the wall with it. Right, but noting that these guys are 200 HP, I think, if I'm not mistaken still. Right, you can see, just for test purposes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, yeah. So these guys have extra 50 HP than the bots. I don't know why they haven't changed it yet. That's kind of silly.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you understand what I'm getting at though with comboing your abilities and to get kills. Yep. All right. And then also try not to use your fortify and your javelin spin at the same time. Usually those kind of, because they're both defensive, they kind of just waste each other. Or if your javelin's spinning, right, you're not gonna. Now that I've seen you doing it, I'm just mentioning it, right? If your javelin's spinning, then your fortify is not doing anything because you'd be eating up all the damage anyways. Somewhere around here? Yeah, okay, so that's this. Alright, let's see, somewhere around here. Okay, over using your weapon again.
Yeah.
I don't know, is that just Mike? Were you looking down there? Or is that just my camera angle? Because you're like looking up at the sky.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if it is your camera angle, look swing your camera down so that you're looking like this, because then it gives you a lot more visibility on who's where, and you'll be able to ult them a bit better. So I don't know if that's actually where your visibility was or not. Like javelin are in the corner there, right? Use your spin on the Junkrat and then pin him into the corner. And not using abilities. Yeah, it looks like we just wasted both of our defensive abilities here. Like we just kind of spin for nothing, right? And there's no abilities, there's no ults coming, there's nobody near you, there's not even high amounts of damage coming at you, you're not low, your teammates aren't low, right? So we're just kind of spinning for the sake of spinning here. And then we also fortify too when they're like a mile away from you and there's only 3 of them. Right, so they're just wasting, especially your fortify, that's the bigger waste, right? It's a 12-second cooldown. When the fight's going to begin and we might not have it. Right? Just kind of watch her do it. What's something we could be doing there?
I could have stayed in cover and shoot at her.
Or even just, you're right, if you're right here and you watch her go right there, run up there, you kind of like stand here, run around that corner, and javelin her away.
Yeah.
Okay, Devo's low-ish there, and we're kind of just like javelin in place, and maybe we could javelin spin the diva, right? Get her out of her mech. Overclock weapon. Uh-oh. So, dying because why? Why did we die there? Were you out of position? Did you misuse abilities? Did you have poor
I
movement?
misused abilities probably.
Probably. What's the misused ability?
In the fortify.
Fortify? Well, we use fortify right here while we're backing up. So, yeah, I mean, like, maybe it wasn't the best, maybe it wasn't the worst, right? Like, you weren't taking a ton of damage. So, I mean, fortify usage is okay there. Not horrible, not fantastic. Would you have been able to press it quick enough? Because you didn't press your javelin spin quick enough, or you didn't turn
Yeah.
around quick enough. Were you aware of the fact that the Pharah was there?
No, I wasn't.
No. So that's probably the biggie, right? Because if we know that Pharah's there, we can turn around and shoot at her and javelin spin or even javelin her out of the actually we don't have javelin yet. Or we can do something, but we don't do anything because we can't see her and we don't know she's there. Right? So awareness, paying attention to your surroundings, doing 360, keeping your ears open, noticing the fact that you're getting hit with rockets, right? When you get hit, firstly, you can hear her damaging from behind you, but also when you take damage, it tells you the direction in which you're taking damage from, right? Look underneath your crosshair here. The red outline underneath your crosshair indicates you're taking damage from behind or below and behind, but you know there's no one below you, so it's behind. You take it again. It tells you the direction in which you're taking damage. You can see it's actually right here. You can't really see it, and we're already dead. So, but you can see it before. Use your fortify when you're coming, or your javelin spin when you're coming back from spawn. It's 7-second cooldown, so if you use it out of spawn, you'll get it again by the time the fight begins, and then you're back faster.
It's go time.
Hold your ground. They do not stand a chance.
Oh, you want to hear this? That's that.
I still don't think that you've gotten a final blow yet this game. Have you?
No, not really.
Yeah, I don't think you have, which is definitely. I mean, you can see it. Oh, so once again, situation I was just talking about, right? You overclock your weapon, and
Yeah.
then oopsie, there's a chunk rat tire 2 inches from you, right? But you could javelin it, right? Which would probably do most if not all of its damage. Oh, John, we won the fight.
Ready for battle. 5, 4.
Okay. Probably want to push out a spawn here, right? Taking space. You can javelin out if you need to. Like if you know if you think you're gonna take damage, javelin out so you're not taking damage. But this creates space for your team to work with, as well as like this is not
Mm.
right. This is not your preference, right? You got to push cart, and this is not your preference range. You don't want to be back at this range, so probably want to be pushing in here, just like even running the cart. Right now we're just like sitting really far back. I don't know if is that because like, uh, you're wanting to play long ranged against them.
No, I was trying to get a decent position to get a pick somehow.
Well, remember ranging wise, right? This is like
Mm.
50 meters away from them, right? You're going to be.
Mm.
Do you remember? I mean, like we went over this on Sojourn, but we can talk about this on Orisa. Or that's
Mm.
Orisa's range probably caps out at like at like 30 meters, right, or something like that, right? Where she might not want to play that far back. You were playing like this distance, right, like 50 meters. That's
Mm.
really really far, and you might do same amount of damage, but you're going to run into a lot of problems, like the fact that you're working with a projectile weapon. So by the time your bullet gets there, they've already moved, whether on purpose or on accident. Your javelin as well, projectile, so they might have already moved, whether on purpose or on accident. You're not going to be able to use your spin at all from this range. You are not going to have angles to really shoot at anything from. It's a smaller target. Bigger targets are easier to hit than smaller targets, right? So we're just kind of going to be like just poking and not really doing very much from back here. So typically you're probably on Orisa, you're probably going to cap out at about 30 meters, which that's the end of mid-range, right? Close range is 0 to 15. 15 to 30 is mid-range, 30 plus is long range, right?
Mm.
So you're probably capping out at around here because that's going to be like the edge of your effective range. But Orisa, like we've been talking about, can probably play within this whole 30 meters. She's pretty flexible. So that means that I can just get up here, do this, back up, play here, right? And just be like, really you have control over this whole range. It just kind of depends. But we're just like kind of chilling all the way back here, which is going to mean, once again, you're not putting yourself in a position to get kills or do anything, right?
Mm.
So you say you're trying to put yourself in a position to do things, but reality says that you're kind of just sitting there. Where pushing forwards to get inside your preference range and actually have angles to shoot at things. And when you push when you're all the way back here, this means that you can't tank for your team at all, which means that your teammates kind of have to like stick back here too, which puts them all at ranges they don't like, right? But when you push forwards, it creates space for your team. So if we push up and use this cover, and now we can position here and do this and that, right? Now we can actually do things.
Ready for battle.
Probably just like fortify or use a javelin spin. Just run straight the cart here. Start pushing it up, taking space. Don't let your teammates push it. If there's a ton of damage on it, you can push it. Don't javelin him, right? Like if we Yeah, I mean, like, we kind of let our teammates finish it, but if we javelin him, look how far into your team that pushes him, right? Pushes him, like, all the way into your spawn. Push 4 up past your teammates. We're kind of, like, standing behind your teammates here. Almost. Okay, you're up a ton here. Probably want to be pushing. Javelin spin to get closer. Right now it's a 5v2, right? You want to go and finish up those kills, because have we talked about staggering before?
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, and staggering is really bad, right?
Mm.
Right? So you guys don't want to stagger, but should they stagger as the enemy team?
Then we should go for it.
Yeah, because if you make them stagger, then that's good for your team, because then you can start stagger trains and, like, look at, you only have like one more fight here. If you kill these two guys, this pretty much guarantees that you win the game if you kill those two people, right? Because if you kill those two people, they will have to touch with 3 people instead of 5 people, right? Which pretty much guarantees win. But instead, we're running around and taking high ground, right? Which just probably isn't the play when there's kills to be had. You also have to drop from high ground immediately, because, like, the fight's not really in high ground.
No.
Okay, notice how you're positioning behind your teammates again, right? Make sure you're, like, up in front of them. Okay. Using Fortify, we use Javelin Spin and then cancel it immediately. So watch canceling your abilities. We're kind of focused on the Sigma. Okay. Have we talked about target priority before?
Yes, we did. The squish is first before the tank, because just because they're thinner doesn't mean they're harder. They don't die faster.
Yep. Especially now when bolts
Because
are
they're
easier
harder
to
to
hit,
get.
right? So they were just focusing on Sigma the whole time. You can javelin him to stun him out of his ultimate. Okay, using Fortify when you're when you're around the corner from them, right? So it's just kind of wasting the ability. Don't shoot into his, don't shoot into his grasp. That's just giving him health. Okay. Okay. Probably want to pay attention to, like, where your team's at here, right? Because we're just pushed really, really far forwards. You're pretty much like 1v3ing. You're not gonna be able to get healed from over here. If Sigma turns around and chucks a rock at you, you're probably dead. It's just a little bit aggro at the moment, a little bit too aggro, and you're probably gonna imagine you're probably gonna die as a result. I mean, 2 people stop looking at you because they go look at the Sigma. Oh, use the javelin to finish him off here. Or sorry, use the javelin spin. You cancel it again immediately here when he's like 1 HP.
I cancel them too often. Yeah.
I'm on fire.
Okay. Oh, it's a good game. Let's see. I think that's the end. We can talk about maybe real quick. I'm going to send you aggression scaling. Let's talk about aggression scaling. So, aggression scaling is you basically thinking about your aggression, right? You're putting it's a tool that you can use, or you're thinking of your aggression and like putting it on a scale. Um, Aggression is very tightly related to awareness because you have to know what's happening around you to know when you should push and when you should back, right? It kind of just feeds straight into it. So, with aggression scaling, you're going to come into every fight at a neutral because nothing has happened yet. Super passive is 0. Super aggressive is 100, right? 100%. Then you're going to move upwards on this scale with advantages and opportunities. And you're going to move downwards on the scale with disadvantages, a lack of resources, and danger, right? So moving up and down the scale. So you let's define a couple of those advantages and disadvantages. Have we talked about how to tell whether or not you've won or lost a fight and watching kill
Yes,
feed?
we did.
Right? So it same concept, but let's put it on the scale. You're up 1 kill, you go to 60%. 2 kills, 70%. 3 kills, 80%, right? And so forth. You just go up. You get more kills, you're up higher on your aggression. You're down people, you're down a person, you go to 40%. You're down 2 people, you go to 30%, and so forth. And then there's all the other advantages and disadvantages as well, right? Which team has more health, better positioning, closer spawns, which team has more abilities, more ultimates, things like that, right? Will also push you up and down the scale. Opportunities, right? So that person's 1 HP, that person's out of position, things like that, right? You can get a little bit more aggressive to capitalize and secure the kill, even if it's just for briefly. Lack of resources, so think of things like your health bar. On Orisa, it's going to be also your javelin spin and your fortify, right? When you when you have those things, it's not like, oh, I have my health, I can be 100% aggressive. That's not how that works. But if you don't have your health, well, then you can't be aggressive. You have to be passive because then you'll die if you don't. So it does drag you down, and you have to play more passive if you don't have those things. Danger is going to be things like, you're next to an ultimate, or there's a ton of people looking at you. Things like that where if there's a bunch of ults flying in your direction, you probably want to back up, right? Play a little bit more passive. You don't want to play aggressive into a bunch of ults a lot of the times. So those are things that drag you up and down the scale. Sometimes it can be stagnant, right? Like, let's say you come into a fight and you're just staggering them over and over again for 20 seconds. Well, you might be at 100% for 20 seconds. But you might also come into a fight and be at your neutral 50 and see, oh, that person's 1 HP, push, 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 and you push, and then you get headshot and blown up, and then all of a sudden you're down to 10 HP, and you have to back up and try to get around a corner, right? So you just went from 50 to 100 to 0 all in the course of a second, right? And sometimes it can fluctuate like that, just depending on the situation, right? This is a lot of stuff, but as you put it into practice, it'll be simpler. It'll just kind of come naturally. It's just a way of thinking about it and putting it into action. You can think about where you are on the scale at any given moment. We can even talk about it, going through another code here. But yeah, there's just one extra thing to think about. But remember that when you're trying to improve on these things, don't overwhelm yourself trying to focus on everything all at the same time, because that's just too much. Focus on one category or 1 to 3 smaller things within a category, because if you overwhelm yourself, you're not going to be able to work on anything. And intentionally focus on that thing you're trying to work on. Any questions on any of that? That'll make sense.
No, all makes sense.
Cool. Do you have another code you'd like to go over for a few minutes here?
Yeah, sure. Give me a second. Give me a sec. Mhm. Um, G2
Mm-hmm.
TE6T. TE6T.
All right, I got it. For reference as well, if you're ever interested, is that you can also copy the codes if you want to like copy paste it into Discord.
Ready for
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just click it. If you just click, I think there's like just a button to copy when you after you click share on the code. All
Mm.
right, so now we got a Sojourn game.
ready.
Um, chuck your disruptor shot at that big like choke point when all of them are running through. A lot more juicier damage because right now we're pretty much just using it for for damage and ult charge and things like that, and trying to get them while they're pushing in. But we use it when they're all spread out and all over the place. Okay. Um, Audio awareness, right? We don't really seem to hear that they're all running to point. So have we talked about like audio settings before?
Well, we did. We did.
We did. Okay. Then we've probably also talked about it. And is that just if all your settings are good and you have a headset that has surround sound, you have a headset that has surround sound.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Yep. Then it's if all those boxes are checked, then it's just as simple as keeping your ears open and paying attention. It's not like you're right here doing anything more than that. In fact, like if you can't see them, then that should be what you're paying attention to, right? If you can't see them, then you should be actively listening because you know that they're below you, right? You're just trying to listen to where they're going. And you can hear them waddling over to point. Um, so I would just be like keeping ears open, listening and paying attention, and then they're going to point. You could even like another thing here is if you're looking for that, like we're kind of like trying to like figure out how to shoot at them, but we're like just kind of like walking in circles around the same spot here and going, "Oh, I can't see
Mm.
them. Oh, I can't see them." When we could do this to look below you, you can do this to look below you. You could do this to look below you, right? And have angles
Mm.
to shoot at them, right? So instead of just like kind of like spinning in circles trying to get to look below you, find an angle where you can look below you, right? That's still in good positioning. Okay. Notice how we're kind of just like sitting around for a little bit, even though we know they're on point. We're kind of just like chilling there for like 4 seconds.
Disrupting. Railgun powered and ready to fire. Not so fast.
Just shooting at a wall here, right?
Yeah,
Not
I
so
saw.
fast. Dodge this.
Okay, we're shooting like one. We're shooting. That's a 5% shot we just shot, right? So shooting 5% shots.
Area denial.
And kind of dropped off high grounds, which just puts us in a really bad position, and we need to rotate around. So that just kind of means we can't shoot at anything there, because just quite simply because we dropped off the high ground. And then when we slid away, we didn't slide to a high grounds. We just kind of slid vertically away. Or sorry, we slid horizontally away instead of vertically away.
Oh. This is also something new, the passive heals.
Yep.
Disrupting.
Remember at these ranges, be tapping, but remember it's not tap. It's not like tap, 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 tap. It's 9 shots, 9 shots, 9 shots.
Okay.
Remember, it's 9 bursts,
Yeah.
and then that straight runs out. Okay. Notice how a lot of our movement here looks very one-dimensional. We're kind of just like here. Notice how you're just kind of basically standing still.
Mm.
Right. So you're gonna get blown up if we're standing still. Have we talked about movement before?
About strafe, yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
strafing, right? So left, right, medium pace, not forwards, backwards, not standing still. Never want to stand still unless like you're absolutely sure nobody could be shooting at you and looking at you. But here they all knew that we were there, right? It's, they saw us like a
Yeah.
second ago. So they all know we're here. It's not like this is like a hidden surprise. So definitely want to be left, right, 80 strafing, as well as mechanics. I think just in general, shooting could use a bit of work. So before we wrap up, let's talk about mechanics. We've already, I'm sure, like talked in depth on mechanics, right? We've
Mm.
talked on cross replacement. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We've talked about warm ups and practicing your aim. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, have we talked about like your sensitivity and DPI?
No sensitivity. We did not go
What's
about that. No.
what's your sensitivity and DPI at?
Depends on the character I'm playing.
That's one thing. Is I probably my own personal recommendation is not to do that, because then what's gonna happen is if you do that, your arm and your wrist have to memorize each individual sensitivity and have a different muscle memory that adjusts per character, especially if you have it on like differently across a lot of characters. Then that means that
Okay.
your aiming will be different when you're on Orisa versus Sojourn, right? And when you're on Sojourn versus Soldier. And when you do
That's
that,
true.
then that means that you're basically you're firstly probably going to be confusing yourself with your where you'll be, you'll be on, let's just say you have it differently from like Tracer to Sojourn. Let's say you're on Sojourn and you'll be confusing yourself where you might just not remember they have a higher sensitivity, but then also you're going to have to adjust every single time you swap characters, and you're also going to be improving at a slower rate because you aren't just improving at one single sensitivity across all characters. You're improving across multiple sensitivities across all characters, which will mean a much, much slower improvement rate on sensitivities. Really, there's only rare circumstances that, like, maybe on, like, a Ryan Hart, where you can have it be a much higher sensitivity. But, like, even that, like, I really, across most characters and in most situations, I would recommend highly one coherent sensitivity, because then it makes your improvement across on that sensitivity consistent, and it makes it so that you're not like working against yourself, where basically like where if you're where you're learning one muscle memory, you're actively like ruining your muscle memory for that other character. Does that all
Makes
make
sense.
sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So what is your like most common sensitivity, or like what's this? Do you have a sensitivity that you like the best?
Yeah, the Sojourn sensitivity I had the general sensitivity was set as 45, but on Sojourn I was at 37, and on Echo I was at 50 on
Okay, so
both.
you have it at 37. You said, right?
Why 37? Because I tested it out and it was the most consistent I could aim with.
Okay, so 37 sensitivity in game. What do you know what your DPI is outside of game?
Nope.
No. Do you have a branded mouse, or do you just have like an office mouse?
I play with controller. I play on
Oh,
PS5.
controller code. Okay. Sorry, that's my bad. I always forget that kind of thing. Okay. So sensitivity, that does change things then. Um, because obviously I was thinking you're talking about mouse sensitivity, and that would have been a crazy kind of mouse sensitivity. But you're on controller sensitivity, so horizontal and vertical sensitivity is your thing you're talking about. Then you have it at 37.
Yeah.
Okay. Then that's on it. Okay. Then DPI is not even a thing. On controller. So sorry. Forget I asked that. Okay. So honestly, that sounds fine to me. I would just probably try to pick one and stick with it, and then
Mm.
honestly, just by that alone, you'll probably see significant improvement because you'll see a big change in muscle memory for your joysticks and things like that, and your thumbs. Let's see. Yeah, and then beyond that, just keep practicing all the other things. I would try that and see how it goes. Um, I also notice like a lot of like horizontal movement when you're aiming. Like you like will have a lot of like big ups and downs when you're shooting at people. Um,
Mm.
Probably just need want less of that, more horizontal than vertical, unless you have a reason to look vertical, like somebody's on a high ground or on a low ground, or they're jumping up in the
So
air.
you suggest I should go lower on vertical than I have on horizontal?
Um,
Right on the money.
Honestly, I'm not like I don't play on console, and I haven't played on console since like I never played competitively on console. I haven't played on it since I was like a kid, so I can't really give you that kind of advice on how on consoles like controller settings. So that might be something to like look up and look into. I don't know if that's gonna mess with your aim at all, but like theoretically, yes, because you don't need as much of this. But sometimes you do need to be looking up and down, right? Like let's say there's a monkey jumping at you, you need to be able to look up. So to answer that question honestly, I don't have a clue what people say on that. That might be something to like look up and see. Do people recommend turning that down in Overwatch? I know by default it's set to 30% 15 on controller. So that might mean that yes, if that's the default.
Threat
Mm.
neutralized.
Not sure.
Pinpoint
Do you know what you have it at?
I have it at 37 both.
Both? Yeah. So I mean, the default is 30/15. I mean, like I haven't changed that. That's just what it's set at right now when I look in settings. So vertical, yeah, because that might help you keep a more consistent head level by lowering that. Makes sense.
coming through.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Alright, well we have to like really, really quickly wrap up. I'll get all your stuff in your notes to you, which apologies, I just noticed last time I think I was supposed to get you notes and I didn't get you notes. So that's my bad.
Yeah, I noticed as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my apologies. I think that's maybe because I was like getting out of the room that I was in and then completely forgot about it by the time I got out. But I'll get you your notes this time. My apologies for last time. I'll get you a recording. But really quick, general review. Orisa, ability usage and comboing those abilities in. That was like probably like a higher end of a medium. Um, Lots of things in there. Ult usage, not too shabby, not too big of a deal. Mechanic, so that was like low. Mechanics was going to be like a medium. Positioning, probably a little bit lower. Positioning, well, I mean, like, or actually, you were too far away. Ranging, so be closer, be with your team, be ahead of your teammates. That was also like a medium, and then your awareness/aggression was like a medium. Um, yeah. So things like that. And I'll put that all in order for you in the notes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. All right. Any final questions?
No, perfect. Everything's